Disclaimer, the comments made in this video are intended for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to offend anyone. Welcome back to the series where we witness ideological theater disguised as activism. Buckle up, this is modern activism in 4K. First up, a couple realizes their relationship isn't strong enough to survive a simple yes-no immigration question.
Support the deportation of illegal immigrants?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay. She's saying she doesn't.
If they're illegal, then yeah.
Do you not support the deportation of illegal migrants? And why not? He does and you don't.
It's not illegal.
Okay. If someone crossed over the border illegally, should they be deported?
I'm not too sure about that.
Hope I didn't just ruin their relationship.
The funniest part is not that she disagrees, it's that she genuinely thinks the word illegal is morally too harsh to apply to illegally entering a country. These people don't debate definitions, they reinvent them. Reality must bend before her ideology. The boyfriend simply chose survival. Here, watch a trans activist get bullied by an interviewer into silence mid-sentence.
The reality of the situation is that trans women, not men, trans women and other trans people are not predators. The statistics show us over and over again that trans women are not predators.
But do you agree that not all cis men are predators?
Yes, of course.
So why don't we let cis men into women's spaces as well?
Again, this is a bad faith argument.
Why? Why can't you answer the question? Why is it bad faith argument?
Still want to do this?
Yeah, I am.
It is interesting how I'm having a perfectly fine debate here, but there's someone else coming around trying to convince them not to speak to me.
I'm done. This is a bad faith argument. You are not actually here to ask good questions. You are here to have bad faith straw man arguments. You're pathetic. This is a low bar. I expect more from journalists. It's a bad faith.
So you're now personally insulting me but can't answer any of my questions, but I'm the one who's got a bad faith argument?
I'm done now.
Okay, you done?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Do you have any last words?
You're good.
There you go. Apparently I'm pathetic for asking very, I would say, reasonable questions about women's safety.
Their logic is basically, statistics don't matter, evidence doesn't matter, outcomes don't matter, and ideology is self-authenticating. You are required to believe the slogan even against the data, and if you ask questions, well, now you're the threat. Truth is only valid when it flatters the activist. Next, a protester tells white straight men to listen to women, then can't define what a woman is.
Message to straight white conservative men.
Listen to minorities, listen to women, listen to people who are trying to educate you. Don't live in ignorance just because it's easy.
What is a woman?
That sounds like a
You can't demand everyone listen to women when your movement has spent 5 years insisting nobody can define what a woman is. You built your entire argument on a category you refuse to even describe. Activism without definitions is literally just noise with merch. Then Patrick Bet David basically wins an entire ideology debate by saying, I used to work minimum wage.
Would you like to live off $7.25
I
an
used to
hour?
work for $4.25 at Haagen-Dazs.
Right.
Then I
And that
went
was
and
a very
worked
different
at
time.
Burger King for $4.75.
And how much do you make
Then
now?
I make millions today. Then
Right,
I
and
worked
that's
at
why
Bob's
you like
Big Boy.
capitalism, because we're not
No,
all making
but
that.
But
And
the
that's my
difference
point.
is, but
a
the
millionaire
difference
is
between
critiquing the people in poverty
the
and
difference,
saying
my
you should
hope,
work harder. You should work. You know, you can be lean.
My
We can't
hope,
all be it.
My hope is that you believe you can change and improve. That you believe you can upgrade yourself. That's my
It's
belief.
very, you know what? That's what rich people like you want to keep telling us.
But
you
yeah,
can be
the
just like
difference-
me. Do you want to
yeah.
be like me? If you work hard enough,
I'm not
you can
saying
be like
that.
me.
I
It's
don't.
not very realistic.
It's actually you wouldn't be able to be like me because
You're
you wouldn't
talking
work that
down to
hard.
people like
Would you
us.
work that hard?
You don't.
Would you,
I'm not going to tell you. I don't have
would-
to answer
would
that.
you- if you don't
I don't
choose
have to measure my I don't have to measure my work ethic to be worthy.
You don't have to. Then you can't be upset for others to do so.
This is the core conflict. Patrick loves capitalism because he actually used it. She hates capitalism because she wants the results without the grind. And her entire argument boils down to this. Success must be redistributed because she refuses to do what successful people did. This lady thinks Trump is literally the king of Venezuela, and CNN is allowed only for now.
What mainly are you protesting?
Just about everything he does. He's trying to take over. He's neutered Congress. He's made the courts kneel to him. He's, gosh, just about any subject you can get on. Taking health care away.
Taking healthcare away makes them a king, or is that like king? Like I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, just trying to deny people subsidies that they had before to allow them to get health care to take care of themselves and their family. I mean, it's just not what a first world country, the wealthiest country in the world, should do. We should be focusing more on that rather than doing what we're doing with Argentina and Venezuela, and we're trying to support them. That's killing the local farmers.
That sounds like a policy disagreement, whether we need to fund certain healthcare aspects and whatnot. It's not necessarily like fascist tendencies. You know, it's just a difference in opinion of the policy in healthcare. You know, I would agree with you in terms of they, suppress free speech, right? The ability to do that. I felt like the previous administration did that way more than the current administration did.
No, I don't feel that's the case. There's been a real move toward conservatives taking over radio stations, TV stations, and so I don't think, and not to mention AM state radio stations.
But left-leaning stations still exist, right, in America?
So far.
A king must be crowned in their imagination because otherwise they'd have to admit they're just disagreeing with normal policy. They need an evil monarchy to justify their own moral importance. Otherwise they're just voting, and that is not dramatic enough for TikTok activism. Here's another protester who calls Biden fascist, then uncalls him fascist, then runs away before she has to define fascism again.
I'm trying to figure out what fascism means. Do you have a definition for fascism? You guys are out.
Spotlight that.
Well, you guys are protesting fascism. I literally see fascist. So.
Fascist is when you think you don't have to be held accountable to anybody. Like you're a king. Like
Joe Biden wasn't held accountable to anybody. When?
Well, no, he wasn't. No, right. But I mean, all of the presidents.
So is he a fascist?
Yes. Well, no, not a fascist. I'd say that he's a warmonger.
Kamala actually didn't hold him accountable either. So is she a fascist as well?
I don't know if I'd call them fascists. I'd say I'd call them.
They didn't hold anybody accountable, and if that's what fascism means.
Are you here, being what about? What about? You don't care about the current fascism that is actually happening? You'd rather focus on the past rather than.
Well, you said the fascism that is
happening now. Now you were asking me what's fascist, and I told you.
You're saying fascism that is happening now. What is fascism like?
Well, they are destroying democracy. They gutted the Voter Rights Act. They are trying to make it so that he can have a third term, even when that's unconstitutional. And
the Voting Rights Act is gone, so that means nobody can vote anymore. Certain groups can't vote.
I'm not here to educate you.
Okay, thanks. Hopefully I can Google it.
If your definition of fascism changes every time someone challenges you, you don't have a definition, you have a mood. Fascism in this worldview is not a political structure. It's just a label they slap on whoever they emotionally dislike at the moment. Next, a woman argues that breaking into a country is not a crime because her kids were born here.
You don't have family who are dealing with the word, legally, what's legally? Tell me right now.
Like me, I came to the U.S. legally, and my folks came here legally. And I know him. He doesn't have a problem against migrants. He has a problem against illegal immigration and anybody that doesn't enforce the laws. When you come into the country illegally, what does that mean? What does illegally mean? It's 8 U.S. Code 1325. You break laws. It's that simple.
Not going anywhere because I was born here, my children were born here. It's so f***ing on, and Mexicans aren't going anywhere.
This is where woke logic becomes fantasy. We now have activists insisting that illegal is just a mean adjective, not an actual crime. The rule is simple. Feelings decide legality. The law is bigoted, and citizenship apparently now works retroactively through your great aunt's birth certificate. Another girl says she's disabled, wants free healthcare, and refuses a free medical diagnosis because capitalism is bad.
I didn't have access to proper healthcare or even access to a job that would sustain me as a disabled person. I'm mentally ill because I am disabled in a capitalist country.
Who qualified you as somebody that's mentally ill?
Me and my doctor team.
My trouble is, in many cases, somebody you and I look up to will say something to us that we choose to believe for the rest of our lives. You're mentally ill, you're poor, we get to choose choose to buy into that or not.
So you're saying I'm not mentally ill or I'm not
not saying
disabled?
you are or you're not. I would challenge it to go a little bit deeper to see if there's anything you can do about it.
I don't have access to a solution to my disability as someone with a connective tissue disorder. It's genetic.
You can't find a specialist.
I can't find a specialist
Is there
for who I
anyone in
am.
your life that's willing to pay for a specialist?
They would if they had
Anybody
money, but
would you be okay if I pay for a specialist for you to go see?
Yeah.
I'm going to have you go see 2 specialists, but would you also be open to seeing somebody else I choose as a psychologist?
No.
You're not.
No.
So
You're choosing who gets to determine what my mental health looks like. No.
This is the perfect example of how victimhood becomes identity. If solutions appear, the entire narrative collapses, so solutions must be rejected. She needs the problem more than she needs the cure. Patrick offered resources, she chose self-pity. That tells you everything. Next up, everyone at this protest loves human rights for all. Until the reporter asks, even the humans inside the womb?
Human rights, what do you think about them?
We're in favor of them.
For everybody?
Yes.
How about the unborn? Do you support human rights?
Yes, of course.
For everybody?
Yes, of course.
Even people in the womb?
Well, it all depends on if they're actually a baby or not.
Science says they are.
Well, it depends on what science you're talking about.
96% of all biologists, according to the NIH. Thoughts on human rights?
I'm all for them.
Yeah, me too.
Especially now, right? Yeah.
For everybody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even the unborn?
An unborn what?
Unborn in the womb.
No.
Yeah, no rights for them. Thoughts on human rights?
That's what we're here for.
For everybody, right?
Yes.
Including the unborn?
No.
Everyone has autonomy to not be killed, I think.
Freedom means choice. You have no argument. Stop taking rights away. Get out of here.
Human rights for all is a great slogan until you ask which humans count, and suddenly the loudest defenders of humanity become allergic to specificity. They want the moral high ground without the moral consistency, and they scream the loudest when they're exposed. Nancy Mace asks, what is a woman? And the woke activist immediately blue screens.
What is a woman? What is a woman? Do women have penises?
So again, I believe that women.
Democrats have gone so crazy. Women can have penises. That's not a thing. That's not biology. It's not science. Tranny. I don't really care. You want penises in women's bathrooms, and I'm not going to have it.
There are some women who were assigned a female.
You say you're here to defend women. You say you're here to defend women, but shouldn't you be able to define one? Shouldn't you be able to define one if you're for women's rights? You sound like a lunatic. What is a woman is the question.
I'm not sure I understand the question here.
If you can't even define the category you're demanding access to, you shouldn't be leading the charge to abolish the boundaries around it. This is what happens when language becomes optional and feelings become law. You end up arguing for rights you cannot even describe. This woman thinks she lives in a fascist dictatorship.
Well, what do you think? This is a fascist dictatorship?
Yeah.
How can you guys protest like this in a fascist dictatorship?
Do you think that a fascist dictatorship automatically kills everyone who protests them? There are levels to a fascist government. What do you think happens in LA and Chicago when he has the National Guard and ICE go and beat up protesters?
That's after they set police cars on fire and they attack police officers. Yeah, I mean, I've reported in that. A lot of my colleagues have. So
I'm sure you have lied about it lots.
Footage doesn't lie, though. People who are instigating, attacking, and being physically antagonistic and violent against federal agents are arrested.
In Portland, they go and bow over people who are just standing there doing nothing.
Is this a fascist dictatorship, in your opinion? You guys think it's curious that you're allowed to protest 10 feet from the White House in a fascist dictatorship?
Not really.
Okay, why is he not arresting you guys if he's a fascist dictator?
Because he hasn't consolidated enough power to actually do that yet.
Maybe he's not a fascist. Maybe he's just somebody you disagree with who's president. Is that possible?
I can disagree with someone who's also a fascist and the president.
Calling people a fascist is very, very strong language, right?
Yeah,
it kind of leads to people hating people and wanting to...
language for strong situations.
You think Charlie Kirk was a fascist? A lot of people called him a fascist. Did he deserve to get killed?
No, he didn't deserve to get killed, but he was a fascist.
I'm glad we agree on that. Maybe we can just end it there. We don't no political violence. We disagree. I wish you guys the best.
While live streaming calling someone fascist is not a claim anymore. It's a reflex. The minute reality interferes, just slap the label on the person correcting you. It's emotional insurance. Because if everyone who disagrees with you is fascist, you never have to explain anything, ever. The No King protest explains Obama deportations were wholesome. Trump deportations come with helicopter SFX.
Do you think that Trump is a king?
I don't think he's a king because he's not smart enough to be a king.
We're America. You rule because we tell you to, because we ask you to, not because you tell us that you will.
What's an example of that you guys are concerned about that he's done?
The ICE raids and deportation, disappearing of people.
President Obama deported 3.1 million illegal immigrants with ICE when he was president. Is that acting like a king or a totalitarian?
I think the big difference is helicopters landing on top of people's apartment building and kids being thrown out in the dark with pajamas on, left without their parents who've been taken away. I think it's a very, very different situation.
Taking away due process, taking away the voice, taking away, like I said, the things that we hold to be sacred, such as the justice system, not allowing trials, no communication, are things that Obama would protect and held sacred, even despite his attempts at anti-polarization, moving across the aisle, making concessions. These aren't concessions. These are movements of terror.
So it's the way that he's doing it that's different. ICE detention centers, which Obama also used. So I'm trying to understand, what's the critical difference there?
Obama is a man who went to law school. That is somebody who maintained professionalism. It's just the rhetoric, it's the movement, it's the type of divisive language that the GOP has been pushing since 2016 to get us to all hate each other and to fight when they're the ones that we should be fighting.
This is performative moral panic. Calling someone a king because you dislike a policy is rhetorical inflation. Pointing out past deportations. Suddenly it's never about proportionality or law. It's about starring roles. They want to be heroes in a tragedy where nuance is the villain. Protesters didn't riot in LA, say these women, until shown literal pictures of a burning car and a guy doing donuts on a motorbike.
What do you think that he's done so far that makes him a king?
Deporting the National Guard to democratic cities, that is a complete abuse of federal power. Just putting the National Guard in LA, now they're trying to put them in Chicago. The cities and the states did not request help from the federal government.
So the administration did that because people were attacking federal agents in those cities, in Portland, Chicago, and LA?
We actually just moved here from LA and
we were in
confirm that where the National Guard were in LA were 5 minutes away from us, and that was not happening.
I also went to a protest where nobody was attacking any federal agents whatsoever.
Some of my friends who are journalists, former colleagues, were on the ground in LA during the riots. I mean, that's what they're calling them, when they were burning police cars.
Like we said, we've gone there. I don't think people dancing in a circle is exactly riots. I also don't
I haven't yet to see any riots personally with my own eyes, and any videos by legitimate.
Okay.
I've been yet to see that proof. I would love to see some proof of that, but
if you want to show us those riots, I'm more than happy to see it.
Can I have your phone? Can you pull up X? Oh, one of my good friends, Julio Rosas, was in LA. He's also
last May?
Yeah, a few months ago here during the summer. Andy No is a good journalist who covers it a lot. I used to work with him, but
we actually don't have a bunch of time right now.
Okay, that's fine too.
Apparently fascism showed police stopping us from having a little car fire bonfire party. They scream peaceful protest until the reporter literally shows burning vehicles, and then they suddenly have a meeting to get to. Wild how the schedule clears when receipts come out. Final clip, a faculty member says speech is violence, while a man who is literally speaking.
I'm faculty here. I also support a protester in the back.
You think that speech is violence?
No, I think that
that's what that sign says.
The conversation that you're having is oppressive.
So I am oppressing people by what I'm doing. I am exerting violence on people by my speech. That's what the sign says, and that's what you just said. And the protester is saying that's exactly what I'm doing, and she's saying that's exactly what her sign means. So that means that you, a faculty member at an American public university, paid for by taxpayer dollars, are conflating speech with violence.
Yes. Speech can be violent. What you are saying contributes to systemic racism in this country. It means that my students of color are pulled over and accused of stealing a car when they did not.
I'm not pulling anybody over for stealing any cars. This is the foundation of liberal education. If you cannot understand that there is a difference between speech and violence, you don't understand anything that undergirds the liberal arts or liberal education.
I've been to art school for 8 years. I understand liberal arts extremely well.
Imagine going to university to hear a guest speaker and a faculty member member pops up to say that simply talking is violence. Not threats, not fists, just disagreeing. Professors used to teach how to debate. Now they teach how to emotionally melt in public. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed watching logic melt into emotional soup, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe.